Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am the NFL prediction guru, Brandon Perna, and today I am breaking down the Denver Broncos and Bengals game. I'll pit each position group against each other and award the superior group a point, tally the points at the end to determine a winner. I am 2-0. Why am I doing this? Because I am fucking crazy. I'm 2-0, which means this is a great week for me to be wrong. That's good, Broncos. Broncos are 2-0, the Bengals are 1-1. The biggest X factor in this game may be referee John Perry, who called the Bengals' loss to the Steelers in the playoffs last season. Yes, very interesting. A game that resulted in a bunch of rule changes and a massive amount of player fines. You may remember Adam Pac-Man Jones saying this after the game.
Fucking refs did a horrible fucking job. You got fucking, Jerry Porter in the middle of the fucking field talking shit to everybody, then when somebody say something to him, he don't even supposed to be on the fucking field.
Fucking refs. However, the Bengals get a half point for home field advantage, and look for the crowd to be a major factor as this is the Bengals home opener. Extra 0.25 for the Bengals. The prediction's gonna be done a little bit differently this week. I'm trying something out, so tell me if you like it. Gary Kubiak versus Marvin Lewis. Another way to say this is vanilla likable guy versus vanilla likable guy. I say, what's wrong with vanilla? It's fucking delicious. I've got plenty of respect for both of these coaches and vanilla ice cream, and that's why for this game, I'm calling this one a wash. 0 points awarded here. I think Gary Kubiak is going to have to get a little bit more aggressive with his play calling in this game. The only problem is, I think unlike the Patriots head coach, Gary Kubiak is predictably predictable in his offensive game planning. I just don't see him taking risks with the young quarterback. Sure, that may be the smart thing to do, but I want some GD trickery. Marvin Lewis is going to have to figure out a way to score more points against an even better defense this week. Lewis's Bengals are averaging 19.5 points per game. The Broncos defense is allowing 20. Will one side bend or break here? I don't know, but Lewis needs to dig deep and come up with something different. Two predictable coaches get a predictably boring 0-point advantage today. Andy Dalton and receivers versus Broncos secondary. Here's what's hard to figure out about the Bengals passing game. Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, the Red Rifle BB gun, as he hates to be called, has a quarterback rating of 49.7, which puts him at 27th in the NFL. It's a small sample size at week 2, so I wouldn't read too much into it because the Bengals have the second-ranked passing attack in the league with 690 yards on the season. However, they've only thrown 2 passing touchdowns despite all the yards they've racked up through the air. A.J. Green is still an elite receiver, and he had his way with Darrelle Revis in week 1. Their second best receiving target, Tyler Eifert, is doubtful with an ankle injury, which shifts the load to C.J. Uzomah and Tyler Kroft, the Womb Raider, as they call him in Cincy, because he steals babies. Jesus Christ, Tyler Kroft, the Womb Raider, should be in jail. Rookie receiver Tyler Boyd had 6 catches for 78 yards against the Steelers last week, and even though Brandon LaFell is the Patriots' garbage, he's considered recyclable material in Cincy. The Bengals have played the Steelers and the Jets, who rank 31st and 26th in pass defense. That may be part of the reason Cincy has accumulated so many yards. The Broncos currently have the second best passing defense, giving up an average of 173 yards per game, with the Ravens being the only team besting them. So I'm giving the Broncos a 0.5 advantage. The no-fly zone basically shut down Andrew Luck last week with 197 yards passing and 1 TD. Talib cinched the win with his pick 6 off of Luck, and after shutting down Newton and Luck, I think they can deal with the Dalton. The other thing the Broncos have is 2 hard-hitting safeties in TJ Ward and Darian Stewart, who continue to pound opposing quarterbacks and receivers. If Stewart or Ward hits A.J. Green just once early, the way they laid into Kelvin Benjamin, Green will be ineffective. He does not embrace pain the way bigger-bodied receivers like Benjamin do. Trevor Siemian in receivers versus Bengals secondary. The Broncos have the 26th best passing attack in terms of yards per game. But Trevor Siemian's total QBR is slightly better than Andy Dalton's at 52.2. Yeah! The good news is Trevor Siemian is completing 67.8% of his passes. The bad news is the Broncos only scored 1 receiving touchdown this season, and they can't bank on the defense to score 2 touchdowns every week. Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas were vocal about wanting the football more this week. And they may get it on Sunday. I believe the Bengals will try and force the Broncos to beat them through the air, and Siemian is going to have to find ways to take calculated shots down the field. And trust me, he can do it, even though many of you have forgot how he played in the 2015 preseason. That's a 41-yard pass to Benny Fowler. Maybe it's time to call some of those plays and for DT and Sanders to get wide open and give him those easy targets. I'd call on Fowler this week, but his status is questionable. Last week, the Bengals secondary shut down the best receiver in the game in Antonio Brown. But Big Ben tossed 3 touchdowns, and Sammy Coates had 97 receiving yards on the day. Dre Kirkpatrick, Adam Jones, Sean Williams, and George Ayoka make up a formidable secondary. And I think they can limit both Sanders and DT during the game, especially at home. The Broncos may need to exploit matchups with linebackers to succeed in the passing game. All 3 of Roethlisberger's TDs went to tight ends and running backs. Jeff Hireman needs to step the fuck up and help his young quarterback in his NFL debut. Virgil Green is out with a calf injury, which, in my opinion, could be the difference maker in this game. I'm giving the Bengals secondary a 0.5 advantage here because of how they played against the Twerkmaster last week, and the Broncos' failure to dominate that decimated Colts secondary last week. Broncos running backs and O-line versus the Bengals front 7. The Broncos offense has been serviceable through 2 weeks. They're off to a better start this season than last year, and the one guy who's been shining is C.J. Andersonic. He's accounted for 232 yards of total offense and 3 touchdowns. Devontae Booker did improve from week 1 to week 2, and fullback Andy Janovich has touched the rock once in each game. I'm hoping Janovich, the best weapon we have, gets 5 touches, or as we call that in the workplace, harassment. 5 touches, you're out. The right side of the Broncos offensive line is in full shuffle mode with the injury to tackle Donald Stephenson. In fact, Gary Kubiak has made the line watch this video every single day on how to shuffle dance. It's a great example of footwork for the big men here. Ty Sambrailo will be back in the mix, and we'll see him, Michael Schofield, and Darian Weems all playing guard and or tackle in the game. I don't know, they're going to be shuffled. Also, with Virgil Green's calf injury, expect to see Andy Janovich providing extra blocking support to the right side as needed, and look for the Broncos to run CJ or Devontae on the left.
Wrong side! Left side! Wrong side! Left side!
Behind Russell Okung and Max Garcia.
Left side!
But the Bengals are weakest on that side with Pat Sims, Michael Johnson, and Domata Peko. No relation to Kyle Peko. Call me crazy, but I like that matchup more than the Broncos' right side trying to open up lanes against Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap. In terms of yards per game, the Bengals have the worst run defense in the NFL with 138 per game. That's a bit misleading because they have yet to give up a rushing touchdown. I'm also calling this position battle a tie, a 0, a wash, a scratch. There are too many question marks on the right side of the line for the Broncos, but I can also see C.J. Andersonic having a big game with the Bengals linebacking core, Ray Maluga, Carlos Dansby, and Vincent Ray, having a bit of a slow start to the season, giving up quite a few yards each game. It should also be noted this front 7 has only accounted for 2 sacks. Again, a slightly misleading stat as Michael Johnson and Carlos Dunlap have accounted for 10 QB hurries, ranking them 2nd and 7th in the NFL. Oh my God, how do you figure out this fucking Bengals team? Bengals running backs and O-line versus Broncos front 7, oh yeah. Giovani Bernard was on my fantasy bench last week when he caught 9 passes for 100 yards and a touchdown. But that's because in week 1, he caught 2 balls for 5 yards. Jeremy Hill has been pretty quiet through 2 games, averaging a dismal 2.7 yards per attempt. I think if either of these guys has success against the Broncos front 7, it will be Bernard, because he's slippery. The area on this line the Broncos have to dominate is the interior. Third-year center Russell Bodine has never been more than serviceable at the position. Sly Williams and Darius Kilgo must bring pressure through the middle. Shane Ray, Shaq Barrett, or Dakota Watson, who's questionable with an elbow injury, have their work cut out for them against Pro Bowl left tackle Andrew Whitworth. That guy is a beast. A big reason for the Bengals' offensive success is their offensive line. Bowling, Zeitler, and Obuye are all well-rounded linemen who can pass and run block consistently, with their strength being in pass protection. The problem for the Bengals is the Broncos defense is already hot. They are hot again. They sacked Andrew Luck 5 times, shut down the pass and run, and will do the same against Cincy. Von Miller leads the NFL with 4 sacks. Brandon Marshall and Todd Davis have been quietly stout, and this unit has chemistry, cohesiveness. They make plays when the team needs it the most. Half point here for the Broncos. Special teams versus special teams. Nothing stands out here. Mike Nugent, Brandon McManus, they're both reliable kickers who've only missed once this season, and both of those misses were on attempts over 50 yards. Neither team has had a big return in the punt game. In fact, the longest return for both teams is 15 yards. And get this, Riley Dixon's average is 2 yards better than Kevin Huber. So, for Dixon, who's taken a lot of heat after the beloved Colquitt was released, I give the Broncos a 0.25 advantage here. Also, look at all of that grass that goes into the placeholder's face. Oh man, placeholders, what a terrible job. Deep key stats versus deep key stats. The Bengals have 3 offensive players named Tyler. Tight ends Tyler Eifert, Tyler Croft, and rookie receiver Tyler Boyd. That's one too many Tylers. The Bengals have 2 Carloses, 2 AJs, but they used to have 3 AJs until they released AJ Hawk. The key to success in the NFL is no more than 2 players with the same name on the same team. Had they not drafted Tyler Boyd, they would have had the perfect balance of 2. The hidden link is linebackers Ray Maluga and Vincent Ray, both spell Ray, R-E-Y. Until there is a double for every Bengals name, or they remove the triple Tyler combo, I have to give the Broncos an extra 0.5 advantage here. Look at that. 1.25 Bengals, 1.25 Broncos, unless of course you actually count the half point I gave the Broncos because they have a more diverse group of names. And here at That's Good Sports, we do, because I believe in the nonsensical, X-factorial, craptacular unpredictability of NFL football. This will be another close game, but I'm on the defensive bandwagon, and I will pick the Broncos to win until they fucking prove me wrong. 24-20, Broncos win in another close, nail-biting, terrific football performance of a game of football for the football world. Thanks for watching That's Good Broncos. Make sure you subscribe here. Give me a follow on Twitter at Brandon Perna. I'm very active on Twitter during the games. Tweet me stuff. And for all of your Denver sports news, go to bsndenver.com. And as always, thank you to my friends at the Mile High Report, the world's biggest Broncos blog.